on time.
1.4 by 103.
30 seconds and counting. Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Tower clear.
Roger, roll. Complete and mission
Fib.NQ on the 4.
11 Houston, you're good at 1 minute.
Fib.NQ on the 9. Fib.NQ on the 4.
Alrighty then, mic check. Oh, we got that music way too loud. How's everybody doing here this afternoon? We are coming into the final 10 minutes of the day. Lucky sevens coming up. So been pretty busy with I'll just be straight up about prep work. I think we'll be talking more about that in my next video on my Emini channel. But there are UN resolutions going on where there are multiple countries seeking out to find out about the Nord Stream pipeline, and I don't know, what do you guys think? What happened to the Nord Stream pipeline? Who do you think did it? I'll just put it this way. If they find out that the US did it, and you've got multiple countries now talking about the petrodollar going away, do you know the implications and understand those two things combined, what that spins our world into? Do you understand what that means? If you've read your Bible and understand the meanings and the interpretations and predictions of Revelations, the events are lining up. Now you might be one of those absolutists that says, well, it's going to happen anyway, so let it happen. Well, that's true. However, if you remember my risk and reward things I've already told you. Oh, here's my play. I just missed entry right here. 350. There was a short play right there, plus that right there. Combination to the short side would have put me over my $500 daily target right there. Oh, I am one trade in. I did take that as I came over to the desk here today. I would just say in that video that I said time was running out and the things that I told you that you would probably need to be doing, I would suggest you do them. That's just my personal feeling on the matter. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. That's my only job, is to tell you what I'm doing. What you choose to do is up to you. Let's see. Do I have the right? I don't think this is a proper chat window. One second here.
DCDMNQ on the 2.
Apollo 11, this is Houston. You are go for DLI. Over. Apollo 11, thank you. Roger
Delta Cell building NQ on the 4.
You can hear my thoughts on the rapture. I believe what Jesus said, not necessarily what Paul said out of context. I don't believe that escapism, which is what the rapture believers, and even myself, what I used to believe. But Jesus did not say escapism, nor did he allow Joshua to escape, nor did he allow the Israelites to escape. He provided them a way of escape, but he did not escape them in the same way. And he said there will be 7 years of tribulation, and there were 7 years in Joseph's Egypt for them to prepare for 7 years of famine. There was 7 years of feast. We have been in the 7 years of feast. I'm not saying it's over, but I'm saying that it would be wise to assume that prior to tribulation that there will be 7 years of feast, and you should be collecting. How do we know that? Because that's what the Bible taught us. If you follow the story of Joseph, what did he tell them to do? He told them to save up and store up during the years of plenty, because the years of famine were coming, and it just happens to be 7 years. Sure. All right, what's our time? Here we go, lucky sevens. So what we need 2 enigmas. I would like to see a double enigma for the best play. There's one.
NQ on the 4.
Yeah, lucky sevens, 7 years, 7 minutes. I like it.
Delta 5 building NQ on the 4.
Okay, so there's target to target. I'm looking for a position for me to be able to hold to the end of day. I want to find the trap and the move. Hold to the close if we get it. Speed is good. No, this is a Centauri drive. I originally just got it because I liked this whole cool video vibe going on, but it's actually good music too. And since I don't monetize YouTube, unlike some people, all the other scammers out there monetizing their YouTube because they can't make money trading. I play whatever music I want, as long as they don't turn my video off. There are some musical artists who, if you play their stuff, they will actually block your video. That's no fun. Oh, notice I'm not in the audio room. Hold up, I need to hear what's going on in the audio room. Hello. All right, mic check, mic check. Those of you guys who are hanging out here in the audio box room, we are live on YouTube. If you guys want to come hang out, I've got audio box on. Here we go. Okay, that is a very large, but this could be, remember, end of day, these numbers mean less. Why? Because we're at the close, right? Waiting for a double enigma, did not get one. Doesn't mean we have to play it, or doesn't mean we have to force a play for waiting for our setup. Look how much volume is coming in here at the end of the day though. See the whole zone? Let's go ahead and mark out the zone. So double cross at the top, we'll get short. Double cross at the bottom, we get long. You know the drill. Don't hear anything on audio. Oh, there we go. I was like, I don't hear anything on the audio box. What's up? Just in case this makes a run, get a double move scenario. Okay, so up there to the gold line. If we make a run, cross one. If I get a second cross, get short at the top here. No double cross here in buyers. We have 40 seconds till the close. Yeah, I was waiting for the lucky 7 play. With Enigma, I'm looking for double Enigmas between that last 10 minutes. I have not seen the double Enigma. So didn't have a play. Okay, here comes the close. Okay, so no play there into the end session there. So we'll be talking about training. I'll be doing training videos here right after the close. Told you guys we need to do a few of those. I want to make sure you guys are prepared. Know what's up. If you guys got questions, post them in the chat. I'm going to answer them here, and then I'm going to get to it again. A lot of stuff to prep up and get ready. I'm just in a mode of like make as much as you can, and yeah, I mean, just you gotta, I don't know, I don't say you have to, I don't know, I'm not God. He says that nobody knows the day nor the hour, but he did say that you can look around, you'll know season.
Fib.NQ on the 4.
Any questions related to anything, I'll answer them now, and if not, I'll get to going out and making some training videos here on the new stuff.
Delta sell building NQ on the 4.
What's up, ZG?
Fib.NQ on the 4.
We're awaiting confirmation of separation. That was secondary propellant on Quad Bravo. Roger, we copy.
What's up, Mr. Sky? Thank you so much for all your work there on the room recently. We have been reorganizing. Let's go ahead and chat on that real quick here. So if you are looking for things, you're going to start to see things shift around. We're reorganizing and reshifting things around in the room to make things easier. But to get to, let's pop this. So left-hand side, easier to get to the support tickets. Right there, if you guys have not seen how to put in a technical support ticket, very simple. Head into the technical support area. Click on the open a support ticket. That will actually launch a little room that is private to you and the tech support only. So if you need to share your TeamViewer connection details, etc., only between you and the tech support staff. They show up as tickets over here on the left hand side. Again, I won't go into one of those because they've got, you know, people in there. I think I have one for myself here. I'll just open up a support ticket, click the button. You'll get this little notice. You can click there, see ticket Vinny Emini. I've got my own little ticket right here. I can say, hey, I need an update. I don't know, something like that. Put in your information, hopefully include a screenshot and details. And if you don't have a screenshot utility, there are download links in there, how to download those, as well as TeamViewer if you'd like to get those loaded up on your machine, if you need assistance, and we'll get that as quickly as possible. Chat's moved around a little bit, and we've got things organized into multi-layer forums now. So if we, for instance, click here on AlgoBox NinjaTrader, inside of there will be multiple things inside of that, so there won't be as many menus over on the left. Under getting started, different sections along that, whether it's platform information, Emini advantages, advice and considerations, install steps, individually broken down, but one place for each one. So again, we are kind of in the middle of this, so as we shift, you know, just kind of hang tight. We are prepping up. Again, we'll be launching AlgoBox stocks. There'll be a stocks room coming, so if you guys got friends in stocks and you want to see AlgoBox on stocks, yeah, that's coming. So let them know that's happening. Again, we purchased another company, crypto company, and we will be merging with some stocks folks, and you know, stuff that goes along with stocks. But imagine being able to analyze stocks using AlgoBox for your entries. Pretty cool stuff. Let's see. Question there. No. Left hand side, any other particulars? Premium chat. Oh yeah, lesson library. So we've renamed that channel, but it's still there. We will be shifting that over to the website just for simplicity and turning it into more of a checklist format so that you'll be able to track what videos you've gone through, as well as updating those for the most recent stuff. Oh wow, look at this beauty right here. That's what I was hoping for there at the end of the day. That is a double enigma. Anybody who is asking about, you know, what am I looking for in lucky sevens, if one of these shows up in those final 7 minutes, I'm going to enter in on that position. I'm just going to hold till the end of the day. So it would have been cool if we had seen a double green enigma anywhere in here and just held to the close, which is somewhere right up here. Okay, and don't forget, so the X's that are coming on here, if you would like to know, again, these are just telling me, hey, right now speed is bad, right? We don't trade here. Great psychological components. This is the psychology module. If you would like to enable that out of the box, it's already enabled on the majority of our workspaces, if not all of them. I believe it's on all except for maybe the ultralight version. And if you want to turn those on, and some of the new stuff right here, click on the psychology module. You can see it via text overlay that I have on, or background. Again, background is B for bug. Background is a little bugged right now, so wouldn't necessarily suggest using that one at this time. But yeah, those are some of the changes going on. Ready? All right, great to have you, sir. Let's see. Other things, if you would like to see a video on something specific, on the left hand side, videos needed right here. If you think, hey, you need some more details on whatever, if you have an idea for something you'd like to see me put a video on, or if we've already done one but you would like to see an update on it, put it in here in the videos needed. I'll be using that to bounce off of as well. But again, I'm not just trying to make videos for the purposes of videos. We want to have a consolidated list of training videos. I'm going to be trying to compact that into 40 videos as we go into the summer, so that will be exciting. And again, it won't necessarily cater to the brand new trader. I'm not going to go out there and like, oh, let me teach you how to teach you what a contract is, that type of stuff. I'm not going to cater to the lowest rung. I'm assuming that people already know that stuff. I don't know, maybe a whole separate little mini series on stuff you need to know, just getting in, like how to press buttons. I'm assuming that the people who come to us are now looking at a part where you're going, okay, but now I need a good strategy. I need quantitative tools to help me and assist in my decision-making process in my trading. We're not catering to the lowest rung. AlgoBox have its own chart trader in the future? Yes, Masher, that's a great question. So we will work on that as well, so that people don't have to necessarily don't want to purchase the lifetime version of NinjaTrader. Again, I know they've actually increased the price for it, but there's a give and a take with that. So back before, you used to be able to get the lifetime version on a discount, $100 off. You could get it for about $900. They've moved that up, and now it's $1,500. Cost of everything is kind of going up, folks. Again, I'm not laughing. I mean, I really shouldn't laugh, but it is it's telling, and you see the signs, and the end times. You know what the times are. Out Matthew 20 through 24, stuff that Jesus said to his disciples when his disciples asked about how will we know. The lifetime they offered to prorate my monthly payments on. Did they? Okay, that's cool. Yeah, George, if you could forward me that email or communication, would love to see that and share that with people. But that has gone up. However, the commissions go down. So I think the commissions got better on the so you pay the $1,500, but your commissions get better, so pay it out over time. I still think it's the best option. Oriaki, he'll come like a thief, never see it coming. Post the Bible reference where that's from and who said that.
This is Apollo Control. The velocity falling off now. Immediately after shutdown, we're showing
That $300 off lifetime, was that for, I think that's for multi-broker.
building 512 nautical miles.
But I noticed I didn't see something about multi-broker on them anymore. Are they not, they may not even, I need to look into that actually. I don't know if multi-broker, anybody know anything about the multi-broker side of NinjaTrader now, what they've changed on that? I have not looked at that part. Although I saw somebody do a review on it and it did not look like there was a mention of multi-broker on the 3 I had seen. Yeah, the 300. So here's how they had been in the past. So, you know, you had the, and maybe they're just going to all multi-broker. Maybe that's why they went to 15. 1500 was multi-broker, and most people don't need that. That just allows you to connect to multiple brokers at the same time. You can still connect to multiple brokers, just the question of at the same time. Comes to the multi-broker, you want to be connected to your stocks broker and your futures broker at the same time, well then you might want multi-broker. Make sense? But you could also just install that on 2 separate machines and you not have that problem. So so Thessalonians 5, 1 through 11. Yeah, so who is the writer of Thessalonians? Also Paul. And I always go back to well, what did Jesus say? Just be careful with some of that. And again, I'm not saying that other things in the Bible are not true. I'm just going when there's you know, things that if Jesus said something and somebody else said something and then it's reinterpreted with words that like don't exist in the Bible, like rapture, etc. Yeah, my personal feeling on it, on the studies that I have done, diving into, dude, I would love for it to be, okay, who doesn't? But I'm a plan B person. There's plan A, but there's also plan B. A lot of people are all in on this and oh, it's just happening, so I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to prepare. I don't have to do anything. And all I saw was Jesus saying, prepare, 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 prepare. And even in the ones that are not Jesus specifically, they're saying, prepare, 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 prepare. Be ready, be watchful. So even in the, yeah, it's just, of course, people who are saying that it's gonna come in a lightning bolt, whatever. Oh, really? Well, I also heard passages where he's talking about coming in on a white horse and people gonna see it coming, yada yada. So you have to, and it's just, I would say this, I would prepare in a scenario. Here's me. Whoever is right, make sure that you're right. Do you understand what that means? Whichever is right. What matters is, are you right? Get me? Are you prepared for both? You're all in on one. You better be right. There's a lot pointing to the fact that it's not. Get me?
Jesus answered, "Watch out that no one deceives you." You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. 7 Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. 8 All these are the beginning of birth pains. Then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death, and you will be hated by all nations because of me.
So, those of you who are red letter Bible studiers, you know, so Jesus said, right? This is Jesus answered. Okay, so if you are a follower of Christ and you believe what he said is 100% spot on, I'm going to go to the source. I don't see in between here anywhere where he said, but don't worry. Before that happens, don't worry. I'll come and I'm gonna take most of you guys with me. I'm gonna come and I'm gonna save you from the pain and torture. Right, that would be right here. In between this, where it says this is gonna happen, it says then this will happen. A lot of people try to insert. Oh, but I don't want that to happen. So let me make up this. Well, we'll be raptured thing. Don't worry, we won't have to go through that.
At that time many will turn away from the faith and will betray and hate each other. Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold. 13 But the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. So when you see standing in the holy place the abomination that causes desolation, spoken of through the prophet Daniel, let the reader understand. 16 Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. 17 Let no one on the housetop go down to take anything out of the house. 18 Let no one in the field go back to get their cloak. 19 How dreadful it will be in those days for pregnant women and nursing mothers. 20 Pray that your flight will not take place in winter or on the Sabbath. 21 For then there will be great distress, unequaled from the beginning of the world until now and never to be equaled again. 22 If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive, but for the sake of the elect those days will be shortened. 23 At that time if anyone says to you, Look, here is the Messiah, or, there he is, do not believe it. 24 For false messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. 25 See, I have told you ahead of time. 26 So if anyone tells you, there he is, out in the wilderness, do not go out, or, here he is, in the inner rooms, do not believe it. 27 For as lightning that comes from the east is visible even in the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. 28 Wherever there is a carcass, there the vultures will gather. Immediately after the distress of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from the sky, and the heavenly bodies will be shaken. v. 30 Then will appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then all the peoples of the earth sea will mourn when they see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. D31 And he will send his angels with a loud trumpet call,
Hey, buddy.
and they will gather his
How are
elect
you
from the
doing?
4 winds, from one end of the heavens to the other.
A toy bloop? Yeah, it's a galaxy.
Now learn this this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender and its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. 33 Even so, when you see all these things, you know that it is near, right at the door. 34 Truly I tell you, this generation will certainly not pass away until all these things have happened. 35 Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will
The
never
Milky
pass
Way.
away.
That's right.
The day and hour unknown. 36 But about that day or hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. 37 As it was in the days of Noah,
Okay.
so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. 38 For in the days before the flood, people
Let's
were
find it
eating
on my
and
phone.
drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark. 39 And they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. 42 Men will be in the field, one will be taken and the other left. 41 Two women will be grinding with a hand mill, one will be taken and the other left. 42 Therefore keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. 43 But understand this, if the owner of the house had known at what time of night the thief was coming, he would have kept watch and would not have let his house be broken into. 44 So you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him. Who then is the faithful and wise servant, whom the master has put in charge of the servants in his household to give them their food at the proper time? 46 It will be good for that servant whose master finds him doing so when he returns. 47 Truly I tell you, he will put him in.
What do you guys think about this one right here?
Charge of all his possessions. 48 But suppose that servant is wicked and says to himself, my master is staying away a long time. 49 And he then begins to beat his fellow servants and to eat and drink with drunkards. 50 The master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him and at an hour he is not aware of. 51 He will cut him to pieces and assign him.
I think it kept reading that last part, but this part right here. Who then is the faithful and wise servant? That's that question. Who then is the faithful and wise servant? Which one? Who is it? In deciding on who and what and where, is it pre-trib people? Is it mid-trib people? Is it post-trib people? Okay, so the question, who then is that faithful and wise servant? Which one? Wise and faithful. Okay. Whom the master has put in charge of the servants in his household to give them their food at their proper time. It will be good for that servant. Master finds him doing so when he returns. What does that mean? Other passages specifically say meat, particular type of food, not bugs, not plastic. Specifically says meat. At their proper time, not their improper time. Basically, can you feed your family? What's a proper time to eat? I don't know, 3 meals a day? I don't know, 2 meals a day? Is it 1 meal a day? Proper time. Had to look into that one. What does proper mean? But I would venture to say, you know, at normal time, you would want to eat. Be good for that servant whose master finds him doing so when he returns. Well, it seems odd, doesn't it? Seem like, particularly, I mean, there are places in the world where that can be difficult. But he says it will be good for that person who he finds who can provide for his family and giving them food at the proper time. But suppose that servant is wicked and says to himself, my master is staying away a long time, and he then begins to beat his fellow servants and to eat and drink with drunkards. The master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour he's not aware of, he will cut him to pieces. Assign him a place with the hypocrite. There will be weeping and gnashing of Well, scripture also says, focus on that which is whatsoever things are good, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, think on these things. Whatsoever things are of good rapport, think on these things. Okay, so the good part of this, I'm going to focus right here on the good part of this. Do you want to be the faithful and wise servant the master has put in charge of the servants in his own household? Master put in charge of his servants in his household. Who's the master? And their food at the proper time. It will be good for that servant. Master finds him doing so when he returns. A lot to unwrap in there, but I would ponder these things. And then the reward that comes with it. In this one right here, 47. Truly I tell you, he will be put in charge of all his possessions, master's possessions. Now again, you want to go, and I like to use the BibleHub.com. You can see multiple verses at a time. What's going to happen when they shut down these websites? How many of you have a physical Bible? Good thing to think about. You don't think they're going to shut down these sites? So who's going to have meat their family when they're forcing you to eat bugs and they stop letting cattle producers produce cattle? And who's buying up all the farmland? Think Bill Gates is going to let farmers with cattle, the guy who wants you to eat bugs and the guy who wants you to eat soy products so you can become a soy boy, going to let meat be distributed once he owns all of the farmland. The Great Reset is coming, happening as we speak. Once the petrodollar goes away, everybody who's sitting pretty right now is screwed. I don't know if you guys understand that or realize that. And when the world declares war against America, when they find out that Nord Stream pipeline was done by the US, what do you think is going to happen then? Five of them were foolish and 5 of them were wise. It's like a half and half. Half were smart, half were not. The conundrum of people asking about, well, what about the ones who were prepared, who had extra oil, and those who didn't? And if you don't think you should be prepared right now, and you think, oh, it's okay, he's coming right now, oh, it's okay, he'll just come and he'll take us away, and then when you find out that you gotta wait another 7 years and you're like, oh, I'm not gonna have enough. You know the story? How many of you guys know that story? You know the story? The story basically says you better have enough oil. You better have got extra, because half of those who were waiting for their master to come, there's a story, half of them had prepared extra oil story is about two sets of individuals waiting for what was in the story, the bridegroom, the groom, dude. Bible, it's related to Christ's return, the master returning, church is the bride. Says when you're waiting for the groomsman to come, churches like to skip this one. Don't like to talk about that. They don't like to talk about the people who were prepared, who had extra, who, what did he say? Found them providing meat for their family. Why is that going to be hard? Ah, look around you. Look around you. Can you see it now? Of course you can. And he said in the same way that you can tell, looking at a fig tree, you can tell when the season is coming. And so you'll be able to. And those who ignore it get just enough, right? A lot of... Listen, I'm not trying to talk at you here, but I'm going to talk at you. Are you thinking, oh, I'll just, keep buying just enough? Got just enough. And all of a sudden with the supply lines, we've already had you've had plenty of time to prep up and see what's going to happen. What did we just have? We just had the whole pandemic to test this whole little thing to begin with. once the supply lines are broken, you know, everything right now is predicated on capital, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that specifically. You got to understand how it's working. Where is your food? Where is your food coming from? How does your food get to its grocery store? You can be, oh, I'll just go grab an apple. Isn't that convenient? You know how that apple got there? Into the supply chain real quick. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure it out. Very fragile line. And at this point feels like by design. Already pouring chemicals into your water supplies. Already telling you to go get bottled water. 2 million people were told in the northeast states to get bottled water. What happens when you run out of bottled water? Where's the bottled water coming from? Anyway, just listen. Can't see it, I can't help you. What am I talking about? Dude, I'm not trying to save you. Jesus is the only one who can. But at the end of the day, I'm just telling you, I see what I know. I don't know, because that's been the obligation of my spirit to let you know. Don't see it. Why are you here today? Why are you listening to this live stream? Why have you seen? Okay. It says, lift me up and I will draw them into me. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to tell you about it, but it's up to you. At the end of that story, this is what mattered. Have the extra oil. Were you prepared? And interestingly enough, I thought, you know, the moral of the story would be, oh, these extra oil people should give their oil to the ones who had just enough. You know what? That's not how it went down. That's not what he encouraged. That's not what he promoted. To those who were taking care of their own household and prepared, those are the ones that rewarded. And he's like, you're the ones that I want in my kingdom with me. Keep that in mind. All right, I got little ones crying in the background. I'm gonna go take care of the household. Speaking of, blessings on you and the family. If you guys got questions, pop them to. Want to see a video on something? Left hand side. Get them going. Lots of fun stuff coming. I could say this. The positive news is how much time, because you have to ask yourself, well, how much time you got? Well, we can say, when is the temple going to be built? Talk of that in brief on my way out. He said specifically that the abomination of desolation will have to occur. That would happen inside the temple. Well, the temple has to be rebuilt. So if you're studying into when is the temple going to be rebuilt, there are certain scenarios and things that have to happen that we know in order to have the temple rebuilt. First, you have to have the red heifers. If you guys do not understand that, go look into that. But the 5 red heifers were created in Texas, of all places. A lot of us live here in Texas. And they went to the cattlemen here in Texas, and by who they, I'm talking about the Jewish people, went to some Texas cattle ranchers and like, we need to find 5 red heifers of all perfect red hairs, not one white hair, you know, the whole thing. If you don't know it, go look into it. But they got them. They also had to be 3 years old. Well, right now they're 2 years old. So next year sometime they will be 3 years old and they'll be ready to sacrifice them. The red heifers have to be available in order to bless the temple before it can be created and built and all that kind of whatnot. So sometime next year the red heifers will be ready. So how much time do you have? I don't know. A year? At least for the temple. How long does it take for the temple to get built? Probably 6 months to 9 months tops. Then they'll start sacrifices. 3.5 years into that, you know, stuff starts to happen. So, stuff to think about. Any final questions? You know the Bible of any? Amen. 1 minute to separate. Christian. Well, I have been called narcissistic, but narcissists don't care about anybody else but themselves. Start there. Do I have an ego? Yes. Am I confident? Yes. But you know what's interesting about narcissists? I want to point this out to anybody who's going, well, Vinny's just as narcissistic as ICT. Let me just point out a couple of things. A narcissist thinks that they're great with no accolades. They think that they're great just because. They have nothing to back up their ego. Because again, there's nothing, you know, having an ego doesn't mean that you are a narcissist. Having confidence doesn't mean that you're a narcissist. I have both ego and confidence. You have something to back it up. You say that you wrote the algo and you don't have something that looks like this, you don't have code to back it, then you don't have an algo. What are you talking about? Oh, I'm the algo, I'm the algo. When you're lying to people, telling people that you're so great and yet you have nothing, tell people you're smart but nothing backs that up. You know, I'm not, again, not here to brag, but like at some point you have to realize. So I was valedictorian of high school class, president at McKinnon, Texas A&M University. We have the world's #1 algorithmic trading platform in the world. What does ICT have? Nothing. A long-winded, an ability to make long-winded rants when he gets on his pain pill medication, which makes him just go ba 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 for 4 hours in a click, talking about nothingness, wasting people's time. Probably sitting here like, well, Vinny, you're wasting our time right now. Well, I do this too often. Talking about, particularly in today, there's some information that I see today, particularly petrodollar news and a joint summit. Look, let me go over to my Twitter. I'll show you something. If you guys are not following me on Twitter, I suggest you do. On Twitter, real Vinny Emini. This right here. This should scare the piss out of you. You know what I'm talking about.
Кто против? Воздержался. Благодарю вас. Кто против? Воздержался. Благодарю вас.
A place with the hypocrites, where there will be weeping and After this I saw another angel coming down from heaven. He had great authority, and the earth was illuminated by his splendor. 2 With a mighty voice he shouted, Fallen! Fallen is Babylon!
Sorry, I think I was sitting there talking with my mic on. But I want you to hear this passage, Revelation 18, and tell me who they're talking about in this passage. Just ask yourself, who or what is being talked about in this?
The great. She has become a dwelling for demons, and a haunt for every impure spirit. A haunt for every unclean bird. A haunt for every unclean and detestable animal. 3 For all the nations have drunk the maddening wine of her adulteries. The kings of the earth committed adultery with her. And the merchants of the earth grew rich from her excessive luxuries.
Okay. What country could that be? Like, I'll give my hypothesis. I'm pretty sure that's America. Okay, so let's read the next part.
Then I heard another voice from heaven say, "Come out of her, my people, be, so that you will not share in her sins, so that you will not receive any of her plagues. 5 For her sins are piled up to heaven, and God has remembered her crimes. 6 Give back to her as she has given. Pay her back double for what she has done. Pour her a double portion from her own cup. 7 Give her as much torment and grief as the glory and luxury she gave herself. In her heart she boasts, I sit enthroned as queen. I am not a widow. See, I will never mourn. 8 Therefore in one day her plagues will overtake her. Death, mourning and famine. She will be consumed by fire. For mighty is the Lord God who judges her." Nine When the kings of the earth who committed adultery with her and shared her luxury see the smoke of her burning, they will weep and mourn over her. 10 Terrified at her torment, they will stand far off and cry, "Woe! Woe to you, great city! You mighty city of Babylon! In 1 hour your doom has come." 11 The merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her because no one buys their cargoes any more. 12 Cargoes of gold, silver, precious stones and pearls, fine linen, purple, silk and scarlet cloth, every sort of citron wood, and articles of every kind made of ivory, costly wood, bronze, iron, and marble. 13 Cargoes of cinnamon and spice, of incense, myrrh and frankincense, of wine and olive oil, of fine flour and wheat, cattle and sheep, horses and carriages, and human beings sold as slaves. 14 They will say, "The fruit you longed for is gone from you. All your luxury and splendor have vanished, never to be recovered." 15 The merchants who sold these things and gained their wealth from her will stand far off, terrified at her torment. They will weep and mourn. 16 And cry out, "Woe! Woe to you, great city! Dressed in fine linen, purple and scarlet, and glittering with gold, precious stones and pearls." 17 In 1 hour such great wealth has been brought to ruin. Every sea captain, and all who travel by ship, the sailors, and all who earn their living from the sea, will stand far off. 18 When they see the smoke of her burning, they will exclaim, "Was there ever a city like this great city?" 19 They will throw dust on their heads, and with weeping and mourning cry out, "Woe! Woe to you, great city! Where all who had ships on the sea became rich through her wealth. In 1 hour she has been brought to ruin." 20 Rejoice over her, you heavens! Rejoice, you people of God! Rejoice, apostles and prophets! For God has judged her with the judgment she imposed on you. Then a mighty angel picked up a boulder the size of a large millstone and threw it into the sea, and said, "With such violence, the great city of Babylon will be thrown down, never to be found again." 22 The music of harpists and musicians, pipers and trumpeters will never be heard in you again. No worker of any trade will ever be found in you again. The sound of a millstone will never be heard in you again. 23 The light of a lamp will never shine in you again. The voice of bridegroom and bride will never be heard in you again. Your merchants were the world's important people. By your magic spell all the nations were led astray. 24 In her was found the blood of prophets and of God's holy people, of all who have been slaughtered on the earth.
So I don't know for sure this is the United States, but when I start hearing this whole thing and I read it through and I'm going, so what country in the world does everyone marvel at? And if they were burned up in a single day, would ever be like, wow, they were the merchants of all of these things, or this is the place where all the good stuff came from? Where does it come from? 1 hour and then burned up in fire? I think that is. I don't know. Food for thought. Some of you think it's false religion. Well, look around you And when you see it all coming at you, remember that that's what you thought and said. I would say within 1 year from now. No, you don't have much time to think about it. You'll know a year from now. Write down the date and come back a year from now, and you'll see it. Those cows will be 3 years old at this time for sure next year. They will be ready for the preparations. So that is a countdown timer that cannot be stopped. Cows are living, and nothing's going to stop them from aging. They're 3 years old. It's well, the predictions will be accurate. You can come back and then come and say false religion. Fine. But if not, on the flip of that, maybe you might want to reconsider swiftly.